All right, welcome everyone to another deep dive with us, and today we're heading straight into the heart of some really exciting new developments in AI. Specifically, we're looking at a trio of announcements from Google DeepMind that are really pushing the boundaries of what's possible, and I have to say I'm pretty pumped to break it all down with you today.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot to unpack. We've got the new Gemma 3 models. We've got the seriously impressive leaps forward in image generation with Gemini 2.0 Flash. And then there's this whole other level of whoa with Gemini Robotics. It's like AI is stepping right out of the computer and into, well, the real world with robots.
It's mind-blowing stuff, really, and we've got a great collection of sources to dig into. We've got blog posts straight from the source, Google DeepMind and Google developers. We've got 2-minute papers with their usual infectious enthusiasm. And then, of course, we've got the insights from Google for developers on YouTube.
Yeah, they've really been putting out a lot of great content lately.
They have. So today, we're going to do what we do best, which is, pull out the most important takeaways from all of these sources and really try to understand what it all means for you, whether you're a hardcore tech enthusiast, a developer hungry for the next big thing, or just someone who's fascinated by this whole world of AI.
Exactly.
We're going to keep things clear, keep things straightforward, no jargon overload, I promise. We're going to focus on the real improvements in performance, how these tools are becoming more and more accessible, and, ultimately how they have the potential to change the game in all sorts of applications. Sound good?
Absolutely. Sounds like a plan.
All right, awesome. So let's jump right in with Gemma 3. This is Google DeepMind's newest family of open source language models, and it's built on the same core tech as Gemini 2.0. Right off the bat, what's so fascinating is just how much it can do for its size. It's incredibly powerful and also incredibly efficient.
Yeah, and that's really the key takeaway here. When you look at the benchmarks, Gemma 3 is going toe-to-toe with some of the biggest models out there, like LLAMA 3405B and DeepSeek V3. But here's the kicker. It's way smaller. Like one source even said 20 times smaller. That's not a small difference. That's huge.
It is. It's massive. And that efficiency, it's not just about bragging rights. It means that you can actually run Gemma 3 on a single GPU or TPU, which is the kind of hardware that many developers already have. So it's like suddenly state-of-the-art AI is within reach. You don't need access to these massive data centers anymore.
Yeah, exactly. It's a game changer in terms of accessibility. And it comes in a few different sizes too, right? You've got the 1 billion, 4 billion, 12 billion, and 27 billion parameter versions. So you can pick the one that works best for your hardware and for what you're trying to do.
Right. It's got options.
And that 1 billion parameter model, that one's really interesting. I mean, think about what you could do with a model that powerful, running on devices with limited resources. That opens up a whole new world of possibilities.
Yeah, it's almost like putting powerful AI in your pocket, right?
Yeah.
Like one source said, it's a pretty wild thought. But it's not just about the size and the speed. Gemma 3 is packed with some pretty remarkable capabilities, too. Like, for starters, it supports over 140 languages.
Yeah, that's incredible. Think about the global reach. You can build applications that cater to a truly global audience, break down language barriers. It's a huge step forward for making AI more inclusive.
Absolutely. And get this, the bigger models, the 4 billion, 12 billion, and 27 billion parameter versions, they also have this thing called multimodal reasoning. Now, what does that mean? It means they can understand not just text, but also images and even short video clips.
Right. It's not just about words anymore. They can process visual information. So imagine, I don't know, an AI that can look at a picture of a Japanese remote control with all the labels in Japanese and tell you in English, okay, here's how you turn on the heater.
That's the future right there.
Yeah.
It's like having a universal translator for everything.
And the amount of information they can process has also been supercharged. They've got this massively expanded context window up to 128,000 tokens.
128,000 tokens. That's like going from having a goldfish's memory to being able to remember, I don't know, the entire plot of War and Peace. It's a huge difference.
It is. It means it can hold on to a lot more information, understand longer narratives, have more in-depth conversations, all while keeping track of the context.
Exactly. And this is huge for developers, right? Because now you can build applications that are much more sophisticated, much more nuanced, and much more helpful. And to make things even easier for developers, Gemma 3 also comes with features like function calling and structured output.
Yeah, those are pretty technical terms, but they're actually super practical.
Totally. So function calling is basically like giving the AI the ability to use other tools, other programs to get things done. So like if you ask Gemma 3, what's the weather like today? It can actually go out, connect to a weather service API, get the latest forecast, and then give you the information in a nice, understandable way.
It's like giving the AI a toolkit.
Exactly. And structured output, that's all about making sure that the information the AI gives you is organized, it's consistent, it's predictable, so you can easily use it in other systems and other workflows.
It's like making sure the AI speaks the same language as your other tools.
Exactly. And to top it all off, Google has released official quantized versions of Gemma 3, which basically means they've made the models smaller and faster without sacrificing too much accuracy.
It's like slimming down the AI without losing its smarts.
Exactly. And the best part is Gemma 3 is open, right? So it integrates seamlessly with all these popular tools like Hugging Face Transformers and LLAMA. You can play around with it in Google AI Studio, which is a super user-friendly web-based environment, or you can even download it and run it on your own hardware.
It's all about making it as easy as possible for developers to get their hands dirty and start building cool things.
And, it's really impressive to see how Google is also prioritizing responsible development with Gemma 3. They're putting a lot of effort into safety protocols, data governance, making sure it's not misused. It's great to see that level of responsibility.
Absolutely. And the fact that there's this whole Gemmaverse emerging, this community of developers and researchers building on top of Gemma, it just goes to show you the potential here. It's really inspiring.
It is. It's amazing to see. All right, so that's Gemma 3 in a nutshell, a pretty amazing piece of technology. Now let's shift gears and talk about Gemini 2.0 Flash, which is all about image generation, but it's image generation on steroids.
Yeah, this is where things get really visually creative. Gemini 2.0 Flash, it's not just your typical text-to-image tool. It's much more interactive, much more intelligent.
Yeah, and it takes things to a whole new level. Like it can do multimodal input, so not just text, but potentially other things too. And it generates images natively. It can do things like, if you're writing a story, it can create illustrations for your characters and settings that stay consistent throughout the story.
It's like having an AI illustrator working alongside you.
Yeah, exactly. But it gets even cooler. You can actually give it feedback and it will adapt. So you can say, hey, can you make the style of this image a bit more whimsical? Or can you reimagine the scene from a different perspective? And it'll actually do it.
Yeah, that's a game changer. You can really have a creative dialogue with this AI. And one of the standout features is this conversational image editing. You can have a back and forth, like you're talking to a human artist, and iteratively refine an image. And the AI remembers the context of your conversation. So it's not like starting from scratch each time.
It's like having a visual brainstorming partner.
Exactly. And unlike some image generators that, can sometimes give you results that are a bit abstract or maybe not quite what you had in mind, Gemini 2.0 Flash leverages all this world knowledge to create images that are not only visually stunning, but also accurate and realistic.
Right, so it's not just about creating pretty pictures. It's about creating pictures that actually make sense, that are grounded in reality. Like, imagine using it to illustrate a complex recipe where the visuals need to be very precise. That's where this really shines.
Absolutely. And it's also really good at something that a lot of other image generators struggle with, which is rendering text within images.
Ah, yes, the bane of many AI artists.
Yeah, but Gemini 2.0 Flash, it nails it. The text is clear, it's legible, it's integrated seamlessly into the image. It's perfect for creating ads, social media posts, invitations, anything where you need text to be a part of the visual.
And if you're a developer and you're like, okay, I need to get my hands on this right now, you're in luck, because there's an experimental version of Gemini 2.0 Flash available in Google AI Studio. Go check it out, play around with it, and see what you can create. All right, so we've talked about Gemma 3 for language. We've talked about Gemini 2.0 Flash for images. Now let's talk about what I personally find to be the most mind-blowing development of them all. Gemini Robotics.
Yeah.
This is where AI gets physical.
Yeah, this is where it goes from being something on a screen to something you can actually interact with in the real world. We're talking about robots powered by Gemini AI.
Robots with brains.
Exactly. And the key here is that they're not just robots that are programmed to do one specific thing, like, weld a car part or something. These robots, thanks to Gemini's incredible world knowledge, they can actually generalize to new tasks, new objects, new environments.
That's the big leap, right? It's not just about pre-programmed routines anymore. It's about adaptability. It's about learning. It's like taking a robot out of the factory and putting it in your home.
Exactly. And they're incredibly interactive, too. They can understand natural language commands, so you can just talk to them like you would talk to a person, and they'll understand what you're asking them to do.
And they can react in real time to changes in their surroundings, changes in instructions, all without needing constant supervision. It's
Yeah.
like they have a basic level of common sense, like, oh, there's an obstacle in my way, I better go around it.
hmm
It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's really impressive. But honestly, the thing that blew me away the most is the dexterity they're capable of. We're talking about robots that can fold origami, pack lunchboxes, even prepare salads.
I mean, folding laundry has always been the holy grail of domestic robots,
Yeah.
right? And one expert said that we were still a decade away from that, but this level of dexterity, it's like we've suddenly skipped ahead a few chapters in the robotics textbook.
Yeah, it's remarkable. And it's not limited to any one type of robot either. They've designed this technology to be adaptable to different robot architectures, from two-armed robots to humanoid robots.
So it's like they've created this incredibly powerful AI brain, and they can plug it into different bodies, different forms, depending on the task at hand.
Exactly. And of course, Google is emphasizing responsible development here. They're working on safety measures. They're collaborating with leading robotics companies like Apptronik and Boston Dynamics to make sure this technology is used ethically and responsibly.
Yeah, it's great to see that they're taking that seriously. So overall, these announcements from Google DeepMind, they paint a pretty exciting picture of the future, right? We've got Gemma 3 making powerful AI more accessible than ever. We've got Gemini 2.0 Flash pushing the boundaries of creativity with images. And we've got Gemini Robotics bringing AI into the physical world with robots that are more capable and adaptable than ever before.
It's like we're witnessing a major turning point in the evolution of AI.
Yeah, it really feels that way. And what's so exciting is that this is just the beginning, right? This is just a glimpse into what's possible. There's so much more to come, so much more to explore.
Absolutely. And the open nature of Gemma 3, the interactive capabilities of Gemini 2.0 Flash, the embodied intelligence of Gemini Robotics, these are all just invitations for further innovation.
Exactly. So as always, we encourage you to stay curious, keep exploring, dig deeper into any of these topics that pique your interest. And as you do, we'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think are the most significant implications of these developments? What questions do you have about how these technologies might shape our future?
Yeah, share your thoughts in the comments. Let's have a conversation. This is an exciting time to be following AI, that's for sure.
It really is. And with that, we'll wrap up this deep dive. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.
See you then.
Bye.